The French dip sandwich, just one of the many culinary creations that California has gifted the world. There's no debating that it was invented in Los Angeles. What is disputed is who did it first. There's two spots that claim to be the OGs, Philippe's and Cole's. We're going to dig into a brief history of each restaurant, their French dip creation claims, and eat some delicious sandwiches.
Howser!
Philippe's was established in 1908 by French immigrant Philippe Mathieu. It's moved a few times since it was first opened. The last time was in 1951 when it relocated to the current location to make way for the 101 freeway. This building used to have a machine shop on the first floor and a hotel on the second floor. Mathieu sold the restaurant to the Martin brothers in 1927, and it's remained in their family ever since. So what's their French dip origin story? There's a few variations, but the official one from the Philippe's website goes like this. In 1918, while making a sandwich for a police officer, Philippe accidentally dropped the bread in a pan full of meat drippings. The policeman said, "I'll take it anyway," and he liked it because the next day he came back with a bunch of buddies, and that's how the French dip sandwich was born, according to Philippe's. Why was it called the French dip? According to Philippe's, there's three possible reasons why. The first, the police officer's last name was French. The second, it's named after the French bread it was served on. Or the third and the most likely reason is it's named after Philippe's French heritage. They're not quite sure. Cole's was founded in 1908 by Henry Cole in the lower floor of the Pacific Electric building in downtown LA. It was once the main train station and company headquarters for the Pacific Electric Railway and was the tallest LA skyscraper in the early 1900s. When it first opened, it was called Cole's Pacific Electric Buffet, and it's the oldest pub in LA. So what's their French dip origin story? There's also a few variations, but the official story from the Cole's menu goes like this. One day shortly after the restaurant was established, Chef Jack Garlinghouse dipped some French bread in some au jus in order to soften it up for a customer who had sore gums. And that's how the French dip sandwich was invented according to Cole's, almost a decade earlier than Philippe's. So why was it called the French dip? Well, that's because it was served on French bread. That's it. So what's the evidence to back up the claims? In a 2016 Thrillist article, investigative journalist Jackson Landers did a deep research into both restaurants' claims. In his research, Landers found a 1951 interview with Philippe Mathieu, and Philippe actually told this origin story like this. One day a police officer asked him if he would split one of the large French loaves and put some roast pork in it. Since he wasn't too busy, he obliged. The officer asked him to cut it in half so he could share it with his buddy, and he also asked for some pickles, onions, and olives to dress it. And that's how the sandwich was born. He came back the next day with some friends and ordered it again, and that was the beginning of what they called the man-sized sandwich. After a while, they started making French roll sandwiches a little smaller for people with smaller appetites. One day, a customer saw some gravy in a pan and asked Philippe if he wouldn't mind dipping the bread in the gravy, and he obliged. Immediately, the next 5 customers ordered the same thing, and that was the beginning of the dip. The next day, an office worker came in and asked if he could get a slice of cream cheese on his pork sandwich. And that's how the meat-cheese combo made its way into the sandwich. So according to that interview, the French dip sandwich was invented in phases. First came the sandwich, then came the dip, then came the cheese. No happy accident, no eureka moment. Now, even though it's a first-hand account, nowhere in that interview did Philippe Mathieu say, in 1918, I did XYZ. So that still leaves the actual year in question, although it is the only first-hand account from either restaurant of how the sandwich was created. Cole states in his menu that it was designated an LA historical landmark and California point of interest, not only for how old the building is, but for also inventing the French dip sandwich. So there, that settles it, right? Case closed? Not exactly. Nowhere on the plaque does it state that it was recognized for anything other than being the oldest continuously operating restaurant in LA, at least at the time that the plaque was installed, or for its connection to the Pacific Electric building. According to the research done by Jackson Landers, there's no documented first-hand accounts of anybody that was there when the French dip was invented. No interviews with Henry Cole or the chef. The only evidence is an oral history that has been passed down among employees and owners. The case can be made that Philippe says the stronger evidence due to that documented interview with Philippe. Although, as previously mentioned, the sandwich was invented in phases, and nowhere in that interview did Philippe say, on this date, I first dipped bread into gravy. It does make you wonder though, why isn't that the origin story that's told? As for Cole's, Just because something is passed on as oral history doesn't automatically discount it. Until time travel is possible, it's difficult to say with certainty who the real OG is. What is certain is that we're lucky that both restaurants are still around, so we can continue to have this tasty debate. Who do you think did it first? What other origin stories have you heard? Which spot is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, this is Howser signing off.